Today we'll get into the holidays at Walt Disney World. We'll cover what's going on across the resort and some tips and tricks to enjoy all that the parks, resorts, and Disney Springs have to offer at the most wonderful time of year. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to Disney podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, October 27th, and you're listening to episode 59, Guide to the Holidays at Walt Disney World. Before we get into today's main topic, here's what's going on in the parks right now. Universal opened multi-day ticket sales for Epic Universe and bookings for their Helios Grand Hotel on October 22nd, which was Tuesday. The opening days sold out very quickly, and it's sure to continue to be the hottest ticket in Orlando for the foreseeable future. Universal will release the ability to purchase single-day and two-day tickets, as well as express passes and VIP tours sometime in the future, so we'll keep our ear to the ground for details on that. Lightning Lane Premier Pass launched on Wednesday, the 23rd, at Disneyland. It launches tomorrow on October 30th in Walt Disney World. Reminder that this is the very expensive option for Lightning Lane that will allow you to skip the queue at each available attraction once during your park day without needing to secure return times. This is a pilot, so we don't know how long it will be in place and what it will look like in the future. It's unclear how popular this will be, and how it will impact Lightning Lanes for those using MultiPass. Only time will tell on that. We'll continue to monitor reactions on this and report as we learn more. Disney announced the dates for the Festival of the Arts for 2025. It'll run January 17th to February 24th. It's a short turnaround of just over 5 weeks. We have very little details other than festival dates at this time, but the festival guide and foodie guide will be released in the weeks leading up, and we will share more details when they are released. Reminder that I'll be there for the Festival of the Arts. I'm taking a solo trip from January 31st to February 7th, early next year. The Cake Bake Shop is now officially open at Disney's Boardwalk. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally here. It officially opened on October 24th. Gwendolyn Rogers, the owner, was present for the opening, and the bakery and restaurant is now officially open for business. Cake Bake Shop is not cheap. The prices are steep, with cake slices being over $20. The restaurant offers a varied menu with access to the sweets from the bakery. If you prefer to grab something from the bakery and skip the sit down, you can certainly do that as well. Initial reactions are exactly what you should expect. The food and treats are delicious, but it's very, very expensive. In operations news, Disney announced that CEO Bob Iger will be stepping down in 2026. A succession search committee is already at work to find his successor. Disney said they will name their new chief executive officer in early 2026. We know that the CEO conversation is pretty divisive among Disney fans, but we like Bob Iger, and we will be sad to see him go. We are very curious to see who the next head of the company will be. If you haven't read his book, The Ride of a Lifetime, we highly recommend it. It's actually really good. And lastly, Disney Parks blog released their foodie guide for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party for 2024. As always, there are many returning favorites and a ton of new options to choose from. And given that this is a holiday episode, let's dive into that a little for those of you who are headed to the party this year, or if you're just curious to know exactly what's going to be available. So starting at the Main Street Bakery, they're going to have the Letter to Santa flourless chocolate cake, which looks like a miniature mailbox. This one is actually returning from last year, and I really wanted to try it, but they had sold out. I waited too late into the evening. I wanted to grab it before the second parade and just snack on it while we were eating. So don't let that be you. If you want to try this one, get it early. Plaza Ice Cream Parlor will have the gingerbread milkshake, a peppermint brownie sundae, and a peppermint ice cream cookie sandwich. If you love peppermint, this is the place to be. Casey's Corner will have the holiday dinner hot dog with turkey, gravy, fried onions, and cranberry sauce. They'll also have the loaded French fries with the same toppings. For sweets, they'll have a candy cane tart and a black currant and mint lemonade to wash it all down if you so choose.
Main Street Snacks will have a festival pretzel with hazelnut drizzle, caramel sauce, and Twix pieces, the hot cocoa churros, a red velvet Christmas wreath donut, and gingerbread cola, which is Coca-Cola with gingerbread syrup. Very interesting take on that. You'll also find these at the popcorn cart near Cinderella's Castle. The pretzel cart in Storybook Circus will also have the festive pretzel and the hot cocoa churros, and they'll also have the Santa belt buckle with his pistachio mousse with a dark chocolate truffle center with a chocolate buckle. This is a returning item, and it was actually at the Sunshine Tree Terrace last year. It was probably our favorite snack actually of the evening and definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, it was super cute. It looks like a little gift essentially, and it's red and it has a little chocolate piece on top, but yeah, super good.
Yeah, it was tough to break into it because it was so pretty.
Yeah, that's right.
Aloha Isle will feature the holiday pineapple orange guava float, or POG float for short, topped with a spiced pineapple tree shaped cake pop. as well as the cranberry citrus float. Both sound delicious.
Yeah, 100%. Golden Oak Outpost will have the holiday chicken nugget platter with sage butter and cranberry barbecue glaze served with mashed potatoes and corn. The festive beignets with blue sugar cookie dust served with cookie butter icing. That's basically a fun festive take on the beignets that are normally found here. They'll also have the fried ice cream Christmas tree, which is ice cream rolled in cereal, kind of like crushed cornflakes it looks like, and topped with green cookie butter whipped cream. Pecos Bill will have the carne asada loaded fries, the cheese and chile tamale served with Christmas-style green chili pumpkin seed sauce, and for sweets, they'll have the chocolate eggnog tart and the salted caramel horchata.
Over at Sleepy Hollow, we're going to have the orange chicken tenders, the Szechuan spicy breaded cauliflower as a plant-based option, and the brownie peppermint bark pieces, a red velvet waffle sundae, as well as milk and cookies mousse. Columbia Harbor House will have the gingerbread chiffon cake with cream cheese frosting, dulce ganache, and a gingerbread chocolate piece. This one looks really cute and delicious, and if we were actually going this year, we would definitely try this one out.
Yeah, agreed. 100%.
It wasn't there last year.
No, 100%. That's new this year. Pinocchio Village House will have 2 flatbreads, the baked brie flatbread and the lasagna flatbread, as well as a Black Forest parfait for dessert. Friar's Nook will have the pot roast hot dog and the Italian beef tots with braised beef. For sweets, they'll have a sugar cookie hand pie, which is like a take on the one that they do at Mickey's Not So Scary, but they do a savory, right? It's like that buffalo.
That's right, the buffalo one.
The buffalo chicken, exactly.
Well, this would be good though, sugar cookie.
Yeah, 100%. And they also do a toasted marshmallow panna cotta tart and an eggnog shake. Storybook Treats will have the sugar plum and vanilla soft serve sundae, and they also have those individually. If you want to get just the sugar plum soft serve as like a side, you can definitely do that. And Cheshire Cafe will have the whoopie pie, which is chocolate cake pieces and a marshmallow mint buttercream, as well as the chocolate cordial cold brew. That's a Joffrey's cold brew.
There's a few mint options this year.
Yeah, it's pretty minty. Yeah.
Anti-Gravity's Galactic Goodie will also have that chocolate and marshmallow mint buttercream whoopie pie, as well as the cherry cordial cold brew. You'll also find the lump of coal in your stocking, which is a cookies and cream shake with cookies and cream crumbles and donut holes, as well as a smoky chocolate brownie sundae. So lots of sweetness going on there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then lastly, over at Cosmic Rays, you're going to find the pot roast melt, the holiday turkey burger, the Christmas cookie cake roll, and the peppermint eclair, which are all items that are returning from last year. There's also so many fun treats to try at these parties. Honestly, the hardest part is kind of narrowing down which snacks you want to try, because obviously you can't try everything. That would be impossible. So you really, really have to prioritize, make the list, make your top 10 or top whatever, and go from there.
Oh, 100%. If you don't do that, you kind of end up getting stuff you might not have.
You might regret it. I don't know. Yeah, like you might feel almost rushed at that point, and then you're like, oh, okay, we'll just grab that one because it's the first thing you see, and that might actually have been probably the last thing you would have picked if you had just taken the time. So for sure, if you're going, I would say write it all out, make a plan.
Yeah, agree. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's a busy time for the parks. There's a lot going on right now. Like Oliver said, Universal opened ticket sales for Epic Universe and reservations at the Helios Grand on October 22nd, which was just Tuesday earlier this week. We jumped on the bandwagon and we booked a stay at the Helios Grand for 4 nights in September of next year, which we are really super excited about. We're actually pleasantly surprised with the pricing. We expected it to be much more expensive than it was. It was right under about $300 a night, which is a moderate level price for Disney standards, actually. We're happy to see that. It was actually a really nice surprise. We really expected it to be a lot more expensive. It's going to be hard to wait a full 4 months after it's open to go, but we are definitely excited regardless, and we'll be highly anticipating our trip over there.
100%.
We'll be watching for reactions from the first couple of months closely when it does open to see how things are going, how everything's running, if it's smooth or not, and what everybody thinks. Inevitably, there are going to be kinks to work out in the first couple of weeks and months. That's just unavoidable.
Yep.
It's like any other opening in the history of theme parks. Historically, there are some early ride breakdowns and little unexpected things that they need to work on before they try and start running it on full cylinders. So, that's to be expected. This is a massive project. Expecting it to be run completely flawless from day one is just not realistic in our opinion. It's just kind of part and parcel of opening a new attraction, land, or theme park.
Yeah, no doubt. Reminder that as of right now, you can only purchase tickets for Epic Universe as part of a multi-day ticket of at least 3 days. Like Lucy said, we booked 2-day tickets with 1 day at Epic Universe, which would leave us with a free day during our stay because we're staying 4 nights. And that's because we're hoping to pick up a single day ticket for a second day at Epic Universe during that stay. When they release those as an option sometime in the future, we're going to try to snag them. Universal did say that single and 2-day tickets would be available for purchase sometime before park opens. So again, we don't know when that's going to be, but we will keep an eye on it. We've discussed making our first Epic Universe trip a Universal only trip, like Lucy said, but frankly, I just don't see that happening. If we're doing 4 nights at Universal and we're already in Orlando, we should be doing Disney as well, but it's a broader discussion that we'll have. Aside from that, Halloween is just around the corner. This Thursday, we'll of course be taking Caleb and Sophia trick-or-treating. The forecast doesn't actually look too bad as of right now, but obviously that could change. As of right now, it's looking like a high of 9 degrees. That's 48 Fahrenheit for our American listeners. And that's not bad for us. It's about freezing, which is, more than we can say for previous years.
And there's no snow on the ground. We'll take that.
Exactly. The kids will need layers, but they won't need like full-blown winter gear, which is nice. And on that note, Halloween means Halloween theming at Walt Disney World is just about done as well. The parks will undergo their transformation from Halloween to Christmas pretty much overnight. The parks and resort will start to see Christmas decor and offerings immediately. And by mid-November, it'll be full-on Christmas everywhere on property. Mm-hmm. And that's what we'll be talking about today, right? The holidays at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, the first question people usually ask about when they start to think about going on a Disney trip is, when is the best time to go? And, we've broached this subject many times, and really, there's not a bad time to go. Every time of year has its pros and cons. Sometimes they're better for weather, sometimes they're better for crowds, sometimes they're better for events and other offerings happening around the property. But in our opinion, one of the best times of the year to go is definitely during the holidays. And we don't necessarily mean the specific week of Thanksgiving or Christmas, but more broadly, the holidays at Walt Disney World in general, which start at the first week of November. Seeing the parks, resorts, and Disney Springs all decked out in Christmas decoration is just so magical. The parks are honestly great at any time. So adding the layer of Christmas on top of that, it's just right up our alley. Christmas is our favorite. And obviously, many guests feel the exact same way because people plan their trips at this time of year specifically to experience these offerings.
Yeah, 100%.
We mentioned this in our news last week, but Disney Parks blog just recently released their ultimate Walt Disney World holiday guide. And Disney said that Christmas will officially kick off on November 12th around the resorts. But really, like we said, you're going to start to see these decorations well before that.
Yeah, well before that, yeah.
Plus, the first Christmas party, so Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and Jollywood Nights, start before that on November 8th and 9th, respectively.
Yeah, exactly. So while Disney's verbiage, is that holidays aren't officially kicked off before the 12th, in practice, they are, right? Because like Lucy said, the parties happen before that. But many of the new and returning offerings do start on the 12th, and some even a little later, and we'll get to those in a little bit. To experience everything the holidays have to offer, it's definitely a safer bet to aim, for that mid-November mark and on to really experience everything as a whole that the resort has to offer, like Walt Disney World Resort as a whole. So what's the best time to go? Well, really, like Lucy said, that's going to depend largely on when you can be there. But as always, if you're flexible with your dates, here are some things to consider. The beginning of the month will be less crowded than the end of the month, which brings the Thanksgiving rush. There's a small lull like right after Thanksgiving at the very end of November and the very beginning of December. And then crowds ramp up steadily from there, peaking the weeks of Christmas and New Year's. So in terms of best experience for crowds, beginning of November and the small gap between Thanksgiving and the start of December is your best bet. Now, it's important to note, this is not quiet, okay? It's just less crowded than those other weeks. The parks are busy in November and December, so it's going to be crowded regardless. It's just that the holiday weeks will be exceptionally busy, right? Some of the absolute busiest times of year. All right, do you think we should cover offerings like park by park?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right.
Absolutely. Let's go park by park and kick things off with, of course, Magic Kingdom. So Magic Kingdom is the flagship park, and it really does get a wonderful makeover for the holidays. There is a massive Christmas tree right in the middle of Town Square, and we're talking massive. Like, it towers over everything, and it kind of sets the tone as soon as you walk in.
Yeah, agreed 100%.
And then Main Street USA gets these wonderful decorations that really put you in that holiday spirit as soon as you make your way deeper into the park towards Cinderella's castle. You can smell Christmas baking coming from the confectionery and the Main Street Bakery, and there's just festive soundtrack playing in the background. It's perfection. Just the feeling it gives you walking in, absolutely amazing. If you love Disney, that's enough to hit you in the feels. And then if you're like us and you love Disney and Christmas, it's honestly a dream come true.
Yeah, agreed 100%. It's just, there's something about Disney at Christmas. And like Lucy said, we're Christmas people.
Yeah, we are.
And the parks, it's just, yeah.
Magic Kingdom has a holiday hard-ticketed event named Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party that happens on select nights in November and December. The first party this year is on November 8th, and the last party is December 20th. In all, there are 25 parties, 13 in November and 12 in December. Ticket prices range from $169 to $219 per person. Annual pass holders and DVC members can save $10 off of the cost of their ticket on select nights as well. If you don't have your tickets for this year's party, don't wait because they will sell out for every date. Just like the Halloween party, the Christmas party is the same thing.
Yep.
Some dates are actually already sold out and will continue to sell out. We can pretty much guarantee that. They always do. Your ticket to the party lets you enter the park in as early as 4 p.m. and then the party officially kicks off at 7 p.m., which is when you'll be able to start to enjoy some of the party offerings.
Yeah, exactly. And just like Mickey's Not So Scary, there are party exclusive snacks, merchandise, meet and greets, ride overlays, and dance parties, as well as like quote unquote free cookies and beverages throughout the park, right?
Yeah.
So I say free like in quotes because the cost of admission is not cheap, right? So it's not really free, but I digress. What really makes it worth it, in our opinion, is the entertainment. So you have Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade. It features festive floats with your favorite characters and some seasonal exclusive characters like Gingerbread Man and Toy Soldiers. And of course, the big man himself. And I'm talking about Santa, not Mickey. But Mickey is there too, of course.
Yes, he is there. But Santa he's kind of the end of the show.
He's
cool.
The big guy at Christmas. Yeah. The parade happens twice at 8:30 and 11 o'clock. Weather permitting, we always suggest doing the second parade as this tends to be less busy, right? Because families with younger kids usually or typically, right, start to make their way out of the park after the fireworks, which are at 10 o'clock. So definitely something to keep in mind there.
I agree.
The Marching Toy Soldiers were a highlight for us last year. It really is a great parade. You also have Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration, which is the stage show that takes place in front of Cinderella Castle a few times throughout the evening. And it's also a must do in our opinion. Like, don't miss the show. It features, your favorite characters, a wonderful festive score, and some funny and feel good moments as well. The show happens 4 times at 7:40, 9:25, 10:35, and 11:55. Depending on how you're structuring your night, we definitely suggest having a general idea of when you'll want to see the stage show. We do like to do them all around the same time, typically speaking. We do this for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party as well, because they have a similar structure, stage show, fireworks, and parade.
They do, yeah.
So for example, you could watch the 9:25 p.m. stage show, catch the fireworks right after at 10 o'clock, then head up Main Street and scope out a spot for the second parade. And on that note, Minnie's wonderful Christmas time fireworks show is the fireworks show for this event. This you really don't want to miss because it only happens once, right? And that's at 10 p.m., so you got to be there. It features a dazzling show of fireworks, projections, and a musical score of festive classics. Again, it doesn't really matter if you catch the first or second parade or what show you go to, but the fireworks you'll want to plan around for sure so that you don't miss them.
Yeah, exactly. And aside from the party, this year we have the returning Frozen Holiday Surprise, which happens every night and not just at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. This is a short stage show featuring Anna, Elsa, and Olaf as the castle transforms into a, quote, shimmering crystallized palace that stays on the castle throughout the evening. It's essentially projections made to have the castle look iced, not unlike the castle that Elsa creates in the movie. It's a fun little addition that is great to check out during your Magic Kingdom day. And of course, just like every other year, Jungle Cruise will be transformed into Jingle Cruise with some holiday decorations and some festive themed humor from the skippers during your cruise. The transition will happen on November 2nd this year. And then, just like Oliver said, there are some seasonal treats that are only available during the party, but make no mistake, the snacks, quick service, and table service locations across the parks will also feature festive themed treats and foods that will be available at any time, not just during the party. And then the merchandise locations will also be full of seasonal options.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. And that's a great point because we highlighted what was going to be available during Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party at the start of the episode. But yes, there's a ton of other Christmas theme menu items everywhere. It's all over the place, right?
It's basically Christmas threw up in Disney.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, if you're going to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, there will be extra merchandise specific to the party.
That only comes out at party time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then there's Christmas merchandise galore, literally everywhere. You can't escape it.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, next up is Hollywood Studios. So Hollywood Studios also gets a phenomenal holiday makeover with some retro decorations and a soundtrack of holiday oldies that are sure to stir up those emotions in the older guests. As special as Magic Kingdom is, we just love the old-time decorations here and the music and then just the overall feel of this park during the holidays.
Yeah, the metal garland and stuff like that. It just gives you
old Hollywood vibes.
It's like walking into your grandparents' house.
Absolutely. Hollywood Studios also has a hard-ticketed event returning for its second year, and that's called Jollywood Nights. It was the first year last year, and there were definitely some growing pains, but they got it sorted out with subsequent parties. This year, they've made even more changes and then added some extra party dates that we think will definitely improve the guest experience. The event will be on select nights in November and December, with 7 parties in November and 6 in December. The event runs an hour longer than last year and goes from 7:30 to 12:30 a.m. Your ticket will grant you access to the park as early as 6 p.m., and then you'll be able to start enjoying the festivities right at 7:30. Tickets range from $159 to $179 per person, and then annual pass holders and DVC qualify for a $10 savings on their ticket on select nights.
Yeah, exactly. And just like the other parties at Walt Disney World, it features exclusive snacks, merch, meet and greets, as well as exclusive entertainment. And this, again, is what really makes it worth it for us, right? This was true last year, and it's going to be the same thing this year. There are new additions from last year that should make the experience even better. So among the new offerings this year, there's going to be a new show called Glisten. This show is going to take place on Hollywood Boulevard, and it features international champion skaters performing breathtaking routines to a festive score, including fan favorites such as Be Our Guest and When You Wish Upon a Star. This is going to happen 5 times throughout the evening at 8:15, 9:15, 10:30, 11:15, and 12:15 a.m. It sounds amazing, and we can't wait to see and hear more on that. And over at Pixar Place, there's going to be a new dance party with Joy, Frozone, Edna Mode, and other Pixar friends, which will be a fun addition for the younger partygoers. There are also going to be like other new character meet and greets across the park, including the Mandalorian over in Galaxy's Edge. And returning from last year is Disney's Holidays in Hollywood, which will be at Theater of the Stars, where the Beauty and the Beast live on stage is normally held. The show is hosted by Kermit and Miss Piggy and has appearances by Tiana, Belle, Minnie, and Mickey, as well as a talented cast of singers, dancers, and musicians. This is really a great show. Like, we really enjoyed it last year.
It was very good.
Yeah, 100%. Like the singers, the dancing, it was really, really good.
Yeah, it was very entertaining.
Yeah, agreed. And there are 4 show times here. So that's at 8:15, 9:15, 11:15, and 12:15. You can see like with the times, there's a gap there. It's because the fireworks happened a little bit earlier than they did last year. We're going to get to that in a second here.
At the Hyperion Theater is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas Sing-Along. This sing-along show features songs from The Nightmare Before Christmas and depicts the story of 2 friends on a journey where they discover the magic of wonder in unlikely places, and then they conquer Oogie Boogie himself. There are 5 showtimes at 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 11:30, and then 12:30 a.m. This show was a highlight for us last year. The life-size Jack Skellington was so impressive. Yep. We thoroughly enjoyed this one. Definitely a must-do in our opinion.
Oh, definitely. Yep.
Like, definitely. Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam is also returning. This nighttime spectacular features moments from your favorite Disney films with projections on the Chinese theater. Expect fireworks, lights, lasers, and projections with a festive score. This show happens only once at 10 p.m., so make sure not to miss it. This is different from last year when it was right at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's right. It was like the very last thing last year, but now they've moved it to 10 p.m., like more in line with the other parties.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. There's also other entertainment across the park, like a DJ playing 90s and early 2000s hits at Echo Lake. You will also spot Phineas and Ferb and then Powerline Max here. You don't get to see those guys very often, so that's kind of a fun treat. Holiday Fiesta in La Calle is returning, but in Animation Courtyard this year, contrast to when it was in Commissary Lane last year. So this will feature musicians playing Latin holiday tunes. And we also have returning the Twilight Soiree at the Tip Top Club at the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Here you can enjoy some cocktails and a live band playing holiday tunes. Sets begin at 7:30, 8:10, 8:50, 9:30, 10:30, 11:10, and then 11:50. An important side note here as well is if you're attending the party, your PhotoPass photos are actually included in the cost of your ticket for this event, unlike the Magic Kingdom parties.
Yeah, 100%, which is a really nice thing. It's nice that they do that.
I completely agree. So make sure you definitely take advantage of that.
Agreed.
We got some great photos at last year's event because of that.
Yeah, we did with Mickey, Minnie, and Edna Mode.
Normally we wouldn't probably wait as long, and not that we were waiting for very long, but we normally would skip the meet and greets without our kids. But we
the
took
photo
full
passes,
advantage.
were included, so why not? And then starting on November 12th, there will be some new festive offerings at Hollywood Studios for this year. So you're going to be able to catch some juggling elves, and they'll be up to some other shenanigans and comedy. The Holiday Spirit Band will play some classic holiday tunes, and Seasons Jukebox, which is a collegiate marching band, is going to have also dancers, and it's going to bring to life some holiday classics. You'll also have returning favorites like the Holiday Overlay at the Frozen Sing-Along at the Hyperion Theater during like regular daytime hours. Santa is going to be greeting guests at It's a Wonderful Shop, and the Seasons Greetings projection show on the Tower of Terror is also returning this year. You'll see nods to The Muppets, Toy Story, Frozen, and Mickey's Christmas Carol themed projections. Over at Epcot, the park also gets some fun decorations, albeit on a smaller scale. It feels like this is more like a personal it feels like than an actual, because there's lots of decorations, but because of how spread out the park is, in our opinion. So there's going to be a massive tree right at the entrance to the World Showcase from the front of the park. The big event here, as you're likely aware, is Epcot's International Festival of the Holidays. The festival officially kicks off this year on November 29th and runs until December 30th. So that's really only a month long. So if you're there, make sure to grab some cookies.
I agree.
It brings with it the usual festive decorations with a great showpiece at the front of the park and at the front of the World Showcase. Throughout the World Showcase, you'll encounter live storytellers recounting, holiday legends, traditions, and cultural celebrations. And of course, you're going to be able to enjoy some delicious eats from the holiday kitchens, which is the food booths, right? So each festival calls their booths something different, but really it's the same food booths, right? They just rethemed them like with the different offerings depending on the time of year.
The group Joyful, a celebration of the season, is also returning and will grace the stage at the entrance to the World Showcase again this year. And the fan favorite Candlelight Processional is also returning at the American Gardens Theater. It features a celebrity narrator, a 50-piece orchestra, and the Voices of Liberty. The list of celebrity hosts for this year have already been announced, and there are some newcomers like Ralph Macchio, Titus Burgess, Nico Santos, as well as some returning favorites like Neil Patrick Harris, Sterling K. Brown, Brendan Fraser, Whoopi Goldberg, Chrissy Metz, Josh Gad, among many, many others. Those are some really big Hollywood names.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Dining packages are also going to be available starting on October 29th, which is today as this episode airs. So if you want reserved seatings for one of the shows, make sure to book now. The cookie stroll is also returning. Like the other food scavenger hunts during the festivals, you'll be able to purchase 5 of the listed cookies in your festival passport to redeem for a prize, which is usually another cookie, but delicious nonetheless.
Yeah, agreed. Yep.
There's also going to be Olaf's Holiday Traditional Expedition scavenger hunts for the littles and the not-so-littles in your party as well. Everybody can partake.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to have kids with you. Yep.
And Glimmering Greenhouses, which is Living with the Lands, holiday overlay is returning this year as well. And then, of course, there are tons of festival merch to deplete your souvenir funds as well.
Yeah, agreed. And last but certainly not least is Animal Kingdom. So while Animal Kingdom doesn't have a specific party or event during the holiday season, it still gets holiday decorations and definitely still feels festive, just like the other parks. On November 12th, the Merry Menagerie puppeteers are returning near the Tree of Life. These are artisans sculpted animal-themed puppets like reindeer, penguins, polar bears, and seals. They are beautiful, right? They're definitely worth checking out during your Animal Kingdom day. And new this year, Santa is going to be meeting and greeting in Dinoland USA at Restaurantosaurus. Last year, that's probably happening, right? Because Restaurantosaurus almost certainly won't be there next year. He will be found here from November 12th to December 24th. Mickey and Minnie will also be meeting and greeting at the Adventurers Outpost in their safari-themed holiday attire, which looks super cute. And the Tree of Life Awakening is returning for the holidays as the days are shorter and it gets darker early enough for it to happen before the park closes, right? Reminded that Animal Kingdom routinely closes very early. And during the spring and summer months when the sun sets much later, it's not dark enough, when the park closes to actually do this. This is a projection show of lights and lasers on the Tree of Life. And we've never actually seen it, right? But it looks beautiful based on what we've seen. So if you're there around the, park close during the holiday season when this is happening, make sure to check that out.
Yeah, definitely. We love Animal Kingdom. This park doesn't get enough love, but it's such a great atmosphere in there. We love the vibes and we never, ever feel stressed there. Well, a little bit of Rome drop when we're heading to the Flight of Passage, just because that's a little bit of chaos. Yep. But apart from that, no stress whatsoever.
Agreed.
All right, next up, let's talk Disney Springs. So it may not stand out as being super festive, but make no mistake, there's actually lots of holiday offerings here as well. Disney Springs also receives the Christmas treatment, and you'll find holiday decorations throughout, Christmas music's in the air, holiday treats at all of the snack, quick service, and table service locations, and then, of course, holiday merch galore.
Yeah, World of Disney. Yep.
The Christmas tree stroll is also returning for 2024. There will be themed trees spread all over Disney Springs, and then you can pick up a map and stickers and locate where the themed trees are found across the springs. Once you've found them all, you can redeem for a prize. There's also Snope near the entrance where you come in from the buses on a rotational basis. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially soap that looks like snow. Think the end of Frozen Sing-Along. It's exactly that.
Yeah, exactly.
We saw it last year, and a lot of people were really excited for it. It was cute to watch.
Yeah,
maybe people don't see snow.
No, exactly.
We're so used to it.
And just as we were leaving, it was just it was just snow
just
all over the place with
and
Christmas music. And it was just,
some
it
of
was
the
a nice
kids
treat.
were really excited. And I'm like, I wonder if they've even ever seen snow before.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, we do love visiting Disney Springs during the holidays. They decorate really nicely there as well, like Lucy said. And it's fun to see all of the themed Christmas trees across the springs. I also love that the restaurants participate here as well. Like, places like Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar, they decorate the inside and they get like a special festive menu just for Christmas, right? So think like themed drinks and eats. We actually had Christmas colored devil eggs here last year. Remember that?
Yes, I do remember. They were good.
Yeah, and some festive drinks, which were great. So
they kind of go on the like Christmassy thing, like cranberry, ginger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely worth, just walking around, enjoying the atmosphere, grabbing some seasonal treats and sips, and just like be. All right, next up is the resorts. So often overlooked when you compare it to, like the parks in Disney Springs. But don't miss out on the resorts across property, right? Because every resort is going to partake in the festivities, and you're going to find varying degrees of decorations and food offerings in each one, right? So you're always going to find seasonal options at the different, counter service and table service restaurants at the resorts. Certain resorts really go all out, and you should definitely be visiting, if you're there over the holidays. Disney said that gingerbread offerings would be returning this year, and we recommend doing that gingerbread crawl. Some people will call it that, where you essentially go and visit all of the resorts with a gingerbread display, right? Several resorts do this, like massive gingerbread displays. So like Beach Club did a carousel last year. The Boardwalk made like a Boardwalk deli replica. The Grand Floridian each year gets like a full-size gingerbread house that actually houses their pop-up holiday treat locations.
Yes.
Like it actually turns into a store.
A big line.
Yeah, it is. It's busy.
We got in it.
No, but that's the thing. Like from this store, they actually sell gingerbread cookies and stuff. So like Lucy said, we were there last year. We got a gingerbread shingle from the store. It actually wasn't the best, but we still enjoyed seeing the decorations.
It was kind of a, that wasn't very, like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't I wasn't expecting it to have chocolate.
No, the chocolate was good. I found it was too spongy. Yeah, I envisioned something a little bit.
I'm not the biggest gingerbread fan.
I agree.
So yeah, I could have left that, but it was still fun.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. And there's also a massive tree in this lobby as well, just like a beautiful lobby. Other resorts worth checking out are the Boardwalk area resorts, right? So the Boardwalk itself, Yacht and Beach Club, is definitely worth checking out their gingerbread displays. The Wilderness Lodge and the Animal Kingdom Lodge lobbies are already impressive, just like any time of year. But at the holidays, they're even more impressive. So the massive trees that go in there, the garlands, the lights, the wreaths, is just so, so beautiful. I get literal chills just thinking about the lobby at the Wilderness Lodge. Like the Wilderness Lodge with the exposed wood and just a big grand lobby with the massive, massive tree in there. It's like probably like 70, 80 feet tall.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
It's just so nice.
Absolutely breathtaking. Yeah, and it's not just the deluxe resorts. Really, all of the resorts decorate in varying degrees, and all of them will add Christmas magic to their lobbies and exteriors. We visited the Caribbean Beach Resort last year, as well as Port Orleans Riverside and French Quarter Riviera, and all of them had really beautiful decorations. And then over at Coronado Springs, the lantern wall that they have at the entrance of their lobby, it was all lit up in green and red for the holidays. And then the lights on the large cage-looking thing in the tower, when you're kind of looking in from the outside, it also gets green and red lights as well during the holidays. So it's very beautiful.
Yep.
That's actually where we stayed last year during our Christmas time trip, and it was just so magical. Another thing that Disney will be doing likely pretty soon and that you should keep your eye on for is the Holiday Foodie Guide. It outlines what seasonal treats will be available across property. It's definitely good to check those out to see if there's anything specific in the resorts, Disney Springs, or at the parks that you really, really want to try. We'll be talking about that here on the podcast when it's released as well.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll do a whole episode or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. They do this because it's not just the parties, right? Like we said earlier, they have Christmas snacks available like all year, not all year round, but like throughout the entire season, and you don't have to be a guest at a specific event for.
No. That's the great thing about it is going there. Whether you're going to a party or not, it's so magical at that time of year.
Agreed. And Disney's doing this more and more as well. They just released their foodie guide for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, right? Like we outlined. But they do that now for pretty much anything. So they do it for like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, like pretty much anytime there's anything that's like remotely
celebrated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They'll do a foodie guide for it. So we actually love that because we love trying new things that we've never tried before. So it helps us, identify what's new on property and what we may want to try on our next trip. So it's actually a good reference for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And that's one of our favorite parts of planning our trips, anticipating the new snacks that we want to try while we're there. Our usual diet is fairly standard during regular times when we're at home. So we definitely look forward to some fun food and treats when we're on property. We don't hold back.
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see, right, there's a lot going on across like all of property during the holidays. We often get asked if it's worth going at this time of year. And the answer is an emphatic yes, okay? Yes, it will be crowded. Yes, it can and does get cold. We were actually like a little bit caught off guard. Yes, like last year, what was it, like 5 degrees one day?
Floridians We apologize. We always thought that you guys were warm all the time. You're not. We were cold.
To be fair, like there were several days in that trip where it was warm, but we had 2 days where it was like actually
I was
pretty cold.
Like chilled to the bone cold.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't have enough warm clothes for that. But you know, the parks are so magical. And if you love Christmas, it's just a no-brainer. At this time of year, we definitely suggest going at least once.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like we said earlier, we're huge Disney people, obviously, but we're also crazy for Christmas. It's kind of ridiculous. So blending those two together, it's a perfect time of year to visit for us. And if that's you as well, you will absolutely love it. We can guarantee you that.
Yeah, agreed. Couldn't agree more, actually. With that said, we hope this gave you a good idea, you know, of the offerings that are available at Walt Disney World during the holidays, and will ultimately help you decide if you would like to visit during the holidays and, you know, kind of help you make a plan of what you'd want to experience while you're here during that time. With that said, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, if you could leave us a rating and review, it would be greatly appreciated. If you choose to do so, you can leave reviews right on Apple Podcasts. And for Spotify, you can leave a rating.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Let's Go.to-Disney, as well as on our Facebook page, Let's Go to Disney. We share some helpful reels here as well as some fun ones. The link tree in the show notes will take you to all of our socials.
Have a great day and we'll see you real soon.